A very good morning to all my dear students. Like in section B of English grammar, whether we take class 9 or 10 or 11, 12, any of these classes, we get some basic grammar topics like gap filling, error correction, omissions, dialogue writing, etc. Now the question arises how to do these topics. See, in previous classes, your teacher used to say you always that focus on the basic grammar topics. They will lead you somewhere. They will be needed each and every time in your higher classes, right? So while doing these exercises of gap filling, error correction, omissions, dialogue writings, we need the knowledge of basic grammar topics, which includes modals, tenses, verbs which include subject, verb, concord or agreement, subject, verb, agreement, prepositions, connectors or conjunctions, and determiners. All these topics we have studied in very deep in our previous classes, especially in 6, 7 and 8, and class 8 grammar, like last year we did, in a very deep and thorough manner. Now let's start with modals. We will recapitulate these topics in brief. So let us start this with modals. First of all, now what are modals? Modals are used for expressing attitudes. Modals are nothing but verb forms. You know, verbs are known as action words. That means the words which tell us about any kind of action in a particular sentence is a verb. Now, verb doesn't only tell you what action is being done. Modals, auxiliary verbs, they are kind of verbs that are specialized verbs which tell you the attitude, how, in which manner the work is being done, right? Some of the modals are will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, ought, need, dare, and used to. They are called modal auxiliaries or modals. They are not used alone. They are always used with the principal verb that follows them. And together with the principal verb, they express the mode or manner. See the word mode, that is why they are known as modals. Manner of the action denoted by the verb. What they express now? They express such ideas as ability or capacity, probability or possibility, permission, command, compulsion, duty, obligation, propriety, etc. Some of the verbs are for positive, some for negative also. Let us start with will. Will, and the negative is will not, or in short or contracted form we call it won't. Will is used to express pure future with second or third person. Now second and third person means you, that is second person, he, she, it, they, third person. You will die of hunger. Now will is modal, and as I told you earlier, they are always used with the principal verbs. Principal verb follow them. So the principal verb is die here. You will die of hunger. This is telling the future. The chief minister will lay the foundation stone. Will, that means future action. Now the second verb of this will is to express willingness, intention, promise, strong determination with first person. We have always read that will is used with second person or third person, and shall is used with I or we, that is first person. But when will is used with I or we, that is first person, it specially indicates the willingness, intention, promise, and very strong determination. Like, I will write to you again, it's a promise. I will help you, willingness to help or intention. He will fight to the finish, that is determination. Then, to express a characteristic habit, assumption, invitation, request, or insistence, when we insist, like a dog will usually obey his master. This is characteristic habit. He will be there by now. This is an assumption. Will you come with me? Request. She will not listen to the doctor's advice. This is insistence. The important point is will is never used with the first person in the interrogative. When will is used with first person, I told you, for specific purposes, but in interrogatives it is never used. Then we move on to shall. Shall, its negative is shall not or shan't, we see. Shall is used to express pure future with first person. We shall learn this lesson tomorrow. I shall help you. Then the next thing is to ask for advice, suggestion, request, etc. with the first person, I or we, in the interrogative. Shall I bring a cup of tea for you? This is a request. Shall I open the window? Advice. Shall we meet tomorrow? Suggestion. Then, to express the command, threat, warning, promise, assurance, determination, etc. with the second or third person. Now we were talking about will with first person, and the same thing is done by shall with second or third person. You shall do it, it's a command. She shall have a reward, promise or assurance. They shall defend their honor, it's a determination. Then would. Would is to express past habits, or we can say the past of will. He would rise early in the morning and go for a walk. It's a past habit. To express polite request, would is a very polite word. Would you open the door, please? Or I would like to see the principal. Then would is used also to express wish or preference. I wish you could come with us. I would rather drink coffee than tea. It's the preference. To express an imaginary condition, I would buy a car if I win a lottery. This is a very important point. While writing dialogues also, we can use this to express an imaginary condition. Then should. Its negatives are shouldn't and should not. Should is used to express duty, obligation, or advisability or desirability. We should obey our parents. It's the duty. You should not be late. It is obligation and desirability, and you should work more often. This is for advice. Should often implies a mild suggestion or advice. It is milder form of must and ought to. This is quite important. When we get confused between should, must and ought to, should is quite mild. Then to express logical inferences, supposition, assumption, possibility and probability. They should be home now. This is possibility. If he should see me there, he will be angry. This is probable condition. Then we move on to may. May is used to express possibility, to take permission, to express wish, faith or hope. How? It may rain today. It is a possibility, but a slight possibility. To express permission, may I come in, sir? To express wish or faith, may God bless you. It's my wish. Or to express purpose, he is working hard so that he may win a scholarship. Then we move on to might. Might is, we can say, the past of may. Then it is to express less possibility. It is a lesser version of may. It might rain tonight. It may rain today means you have a quite possibility. But the lesser possibility is it may rain tonight. Who knows, right? To express permission, might I start the discussion? To express guess, that might be the postman. Then we move on to can or cannot or can't. Can is used to express permission. Can I go there? To express possibility. Anyone can make mistake, it's possibility. Then to express ability or capacity. We all know it. He can keep awake the whole night. Can is used for present tense, while could is the past of can. To express ability in past. He could swim very well in his youth. I could give him an answer if he had asked me. So the past version of can. To express a polite request. Could you wait for some time? To express possibility under certain condition. If we had money, means conditional sentence, we could buy a car. Then we move on to must. Now must is something quite obligatory, like to express obligation of or duty. You must do as you are told. Soldiers must obey the orders of their officers. We must not tell lies. To express necessities, compulsions or prohibitions, I must go there. It is necessity. He must obey my orders, compulsion. And you must wear jeans at work. You must not wear jeans at work. It is not allowed, so it is prohibition. To express emphatic advice or determination, you must see a doctor. Empathy. You must not leave before we finish the work. This is determination. Then to express assumptions, conclusion, inferences, certainty, very strong possibility, like he must have reached by now. He must be 35. Must is not used in negative or interrogative sentences. Instead of it, can is used in interrogative and negative. Can he be 35? See, in the above sentence we said he must be 35. Now we are not saying must he be 35. No, can he be 35? The headmaster cannot be in his office at this time. We cannot say the headmaster must not be. Right? Then have to. Have to's negative is don't have to. Have to is used in a sense of must. Sorry, I have to go now. Sorry, I must go now. Must is used to talk about what the speaker or listener wants. And have to talk about rules. This is the basic difference. Must is expressing the will of speaker or listener, and have to means rules, regulations, laws and other people's wishes, like to give advice. You must have to have a break. You have to try the new pickle. It's hot and sour. The need, need not, needn't. Need is used chiefly to show absence of necessity or compulsion. Means wherever we talk about compulsion, strong feelings, we talk about must or have to. Need is quite mild. You need not pay the bill. Need I speak to him? Quite casual. Now its past, has to's past is had to or need not have. You need not have wasted your time. Need I have to see a doctor? Then we move on to ought. Ought followed by to infinitive, ought to. To express subject's obligation or duty, means other person's obligations or duties. We ought to love our neighbors. We ought not to deceive anyone. There is no external authority in ought, as there is in must. In must, you have to follow the rules made by society, by governments, legal rules. But unlike ought, must, ought is about speaker's authorities, speaker's wish, what is morally correct. It is not about socially or legally, it is about speaker's own authority, moral duties. Must compels actions on the part of subject, while ought express duty, inner conscience, a sensible action or advice. It has the same sense as should. To give advice, you ought to practice for more than 2 hours. It is not strong compulsion, it is an advice. It is less forceful than must. This is very important point. Dare. Dare means to have courage. It is generally used in the negative and interrogatives. I dare not go to my father. Dare we interrupt them? How dare you talk this? Used to. Used to is used to express past habits. I used to go for a walk every morning. See, I don't go now. It was my past habit. To express the existence of something in the past. There used to be a garden in this place long ago. So students, I hope you have understood these very well. It was a short recapitulation, but I think it is enough to brush up. Thank you.